Okay, boys, here we go. I'm going to tune up the walk behind lawnmower, I should say. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the spark plug, which happens to be over here. Right there, spark plug. We're going to change the air filter, which is right in here. I'll show you. And we're going to change the gas filter down there, right there. And hopefully change the oil. So it's a big job here. Anyway, I'll show you the new parts here. Think about the oil. Here's the new air filter, gas filter, and a spark plug. Let me explain what kind of engine this is. This is what they call small engines. You have two different types. You have a 2-cycle and a 4-cycle. All your automotive engines are 4-cycle. What they mean by 4-cycle is there's 4 strokes for 1 revolution. Anyway, the first one is to intake the fuel and the air, and then that sucks it in, and it pushes up, compresses it. The spark plug fires, which combusts it. It pushes down, which gives you the compression and the go, which makes your engine turn. And then it goes back up with an exhaust valve and lets all the dirty stuff out that's been consumed. And after that, the cycle starts all over again. With a 2-cycle engine, it's only gas comes in, the air comes in, and then it ignites, it goes out, and then it comes up, lets the exhaust gases out. So the difference between the two of them, as far as we're concerned, is with a 2-cycle engine, you have to mix the oil and the gas. With a 4-cycle, you don't. You have oil right here. What happens is it sits down in the bottom where the crankshaft's at, and it just spurts oil up to keep the engine lubricated. So there you have it for that part. Anyway, we're going to start to dismantle the air filter first, and we'll go from there. Be right back with you. Okay, I loosened the cover. There it is. And you can see our old air filter. Look at this thing. It's filthy. It's just filthy. Crappy. Comparison here. Let's look at the new one. There's the old one. There's the new one. So as you can see, not too good. We have to change it. I'm going to clean up the inside a little bit and get back to you. Okay, as you can see, the new air filter is on there. All I have to do is put the cover on and tighten it up. There's the cover. And I'll get it tightened up. Okay, got the cover back on. I'm just tightening it up now. And then we'll move on to the next portion of the tune-up. Okay, the next portion is we're going to change the spark plug. What the spark plug does is it creates a spark at the time when the engine is compressed, the cylinders are compressed, which lights the fuel and the air and causes an explosion, which pushes the piston down, which creates the movement for the motor, for the engine, I should say. Anyway, I'm going to pull this off. The spark from the spark plugs comes from a small engine, comes from a magneto. Magneto is just a magnetic thing they got in the top shaft here that goes around, and when it hits a certain point, it breaks the magnetism and creates a spark. So that's how the spark plugs work to fire the engine up. As soon as they get it out, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, if you look real close, you see the hole there. That's where the spark plug goes in, and that's to the cylinder. That's what fires the cylinder, the spark plug. Now here's an old one I just pulled out, and here's a new one. Can you see the difference? One's been pretty much used and the other one's brand new, so we'll see how that works. We'll go from there. Now we're going to put the new one in. Tighten it up, hand tight, and then put the wrench on it. Got a washer, we can flatten it out, make sure you don't want anything leaking out of this thing. All right, that's in there. We'll put the Wire back on, and then what we're going to do is we're going to test it to make sure it works. Okay, we're going to give it a shot. Hit the safety bar over here. So that's when you're mowing. If you let go, the engine stops. We're going to start this baby up. Make sure it runs good before we do anything else. Okay, it's running good. Next thing we're going to do is change the fuel filter. What I forgot to tell you is when we put a new spark plug in, you have to set the gap. The gap is where this electrode comes out with the one thing in the middle. That's what causes a spark. The center part's a positive, electrode is the negative, but this one called for 30,000th of an inch. So I got my tool out here, which I set the spark plug gap to 30,000th. The gap is pretty important because it tells you how hot the spark is going to be. If you go too big, it'll be a weak spark and the engine won't run right. If you go too close, then it won't run right at all. Sometimes it won't even spark. Anyway, that's just a little side thing to what we're doing. Okay, we're going to attempt to put this new gas filter on. If you can see down there, I've got a clamp on the one end that's coming from the gas tank. So when I loosen this thing up, the gas don't start spurting out of there. The other clamp is loosened, so I'm going to pull this thing off and then try to stick the new one on. Okay, after much tight space working here, anyway, I got the new filter on, and what we're going to do is test it to make sure everything works. Then after that, we'll change the oil. Okay, started right up. I'm going to let it run for a little bit to get the engine oil hot. That way it'll flow out of there when I want to change it. Okay, thing about these small engines on a walk-behind mower is the oil drain plug is right here. Pain in the butt. If you loosen it up, it's all going to come down here. So we're going to have to tilt this thing over the oil pan to make sure it catches it. So I'll show you how I do that. Hey boys, you can see I got the lawnmower up on a jack stand because you have to tilt it to get all the oil out of there. And I put the oil pan underneath there, but you can still see there's kind of a mess there. But that's going to happen. I'll clean that up. I'll add some new oil in there, and we should be ready to go. There you go. Okay, now we're ready to add oil. We're going to add it into the filler part. Here's the dipstick here. We're going to put a funnel in there and add about 27 ounces, as they say. So we'll see how good that turns out. Get one of my funnels here. There's a blue one. Stick it down the hole. And we'll start to add oil to it. Get back. Okay, added the oil. Let's check the level. Make sure you never have it too low or too high. Either way, it'll hurt your engine. So let's see what we come up with. If you look over here, it's right on the money. Right there between low and full, right there. So we're in good shape. Took 27 ounces out of 32 ounces quart. Anyway, so it should start right up. Should be okay. Let's check it out. Give it a little primer. Set our safety switch here. Sorry, boys, when I went and reviewed the recording here, I cut out the last end of it when I started up the lawnmower. I don't know what happened. Anyway, so I'm finishing up now from the deck here to tell you that it started well. I put it away. Everything's good. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I love you, boys. You be good. Be careful. Bye-bye.